Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And among the couple of movies that I'm reviewing tonight, the first two, they are very common in that they're both from the 1970s and they're both based on novels of the author Frederick Forsyth. Um, so the first one is The Day of the Jackal, which I remember watching it a while back, and maybe like when I was really young as well. Just have this memory of watching the movie in my grandma's place with a couple of my cousins and maybe some uncles. But yeah, the very famous Day of the Jackal, one of the best selling novels that Frederick Forsyth has written. And rightly so, it's an amazing page turner. I've read that novel multiple times. Unfortunately, I no longer have it in my collection because I sold most of the books that I had before I made the move from the old house to this flat. I do have a small collection now, but I think it might be time to bring back these two books. One is Day of the Jackal, and I'll tell you about the other one in the second review coming up. So I need to get maybe a couple of his books, some of his novels, because I remember loving all of his novels. So maybe I might get them from Amazon sometime later. But let's look at The Day of the Jackal. It is a 1973 political thriller directed by Fred Zimmerman, starring Edward Fox. I haven't seen him in many other movies. I think maybe one or two, that's it. And Michael Lonsdale. And the novel is from 1971, and it's basically about the professional assassin who was hired to hunt, sorry, not hunt, it was hired to kill the French president, the then French president Charles de Gaulle, and the hunt to find him and stop him before he gets the job done. So this movie went on to win the BAFTA Award for Best Editing, 5 additional BAFTA Award nominations, 2 Golden Globe Award nominations, and 1 Oscar nominations, and made 16 million point something at the box office, which is actually kind of great. Maybe a little bit more than that, 15 and 8, 16 and 8 rather, so probably around 20 something box office at the box office. There is a militant underground organization called the OSS who are angry at Charles de Gaulle because he decided to give back or give Algeria the freedom. So Algeria used to be part of the French Empire, sort of like they were under the France rule. They decided to give it up. He decided that it was time to give them back. And I remember reading in the novel that a lot of the OAS people were infuriated because they felt like their colleagues who had been killed, the fellow soldiers who had been killed, was like a slap in the face of their memory. So some of them are pretty powerful. They've got a lot of people who will do anything for them, and they decide to hire an assassin. And in the in the search for looking for an assassin, they find someone who probably is British. In the book, it is not written. I mean, in the conclusion, you don't realize that he's actually British, but he could be, and definitely he's played by a British actor. And the code name that he decides to use, he says, "No one should know my name," is the Jackal. So they decide, okay, they will rob a few banks in order to pay the amount that he's asking for. And it is actually the series of bank robberies by OAS people. When they catch one of the thieves, they realize he's from the OAS. It is this that actually led them to believe that there is an assassination attempt on Charles de Gaulle, as there have been previously, but they all failed. So you'll have to give me a minute. I'll have to just come back. Hey, I'm back. Really sorry. I actually felt that there was something burning. It was actually it actually wasn't something burning, but I just kind of felt it. So anyway, we're back. So as I was saying, the OAS has now hired the Jackal. That's the codename that he decides on that spot. And it's only the 3 main members of the OAS, the leaders of the OAS, who actually know that he's been hired for this. And one of their like bodyguard kind of thing who actually hears about it. And then while the robberies are going on, the police and the government thinks that there could be a reason for this. And since there have already been attempts at Charles de Gaulle's life, They finally catch one of the robbers, and it is revealed that this is for the OS. So they realize that it's actually to for getting an assassin to to find an opportunity to assassinate Charles de Gaulle. So the French Action Service, they decide, the head of French Action Service, he decides that they are going to appoint Claude Lebel. I think he is a commissioner, or I'm not really sure, but he is a high-end, he's a deputy commissioner called Claude Lebel, played by Michael Lonsdale, and he is now the second most powerful man in France, because he's been given powers to do anything. He's given the rights to do anything and ask for anything that is possible to be given to him, to find the assassin, to track and stop him in time. Other than his assistant, who is I forgot his name in the thing. Anyway, other than his assistant, just two of them, and then they are not really sure who else it is. They do track by looking at passports of people who have been killed or who are dead, and then the passports have been reissued. They find a couple of names. The Jackal steals a couple of passport of a Danish person, etc., to actually create false documents, and he practices his shooting. Gets a wonderfully thought about. I thought that was actually quite a brilliantly done. A new type of gun that is created to shoot from a long distance, but at the same time it is going to be hidden in metal tubes, like in a crutch. So that's what his plan is, to sneak it into the area that Charles de Gaulle is going to be pretending to be a retired veteran who lost his leg while in service of the French army, and then using a crutch which has got the parts of the gun fitted inside the tubes, sneak it inside. So that is his plan. Over the period, you see is all the way that he is trying to cover his tracks. However, Claude Lebel and his team are able to find, and at one particular point they think that they know the identity of the assassin, because they get the name of Charles Calthrop, who is a British citizen, and when they go and try to find him, they do not see him. He's supposed to be on vacation, so all the suspicion goes on to the person named Charles Calthrop. The other thing which was brilliantly put in the book is that, and as well in the movie, is that the first three letters of his first name Charles and the first three letters of his last name Calthrop together is Jackal, which is French for jackal, and that is another reason why they feel that he is the actual person. He actually ends up not being him. In the end, Claude Lebel is able to find out there are spies within from the OS within the ranks of a mistress of one of the ministers, who ends up committing suicide because he let some of the information out. Finally, the Lebel is able to just in time reach and kill the Jackal before, and it's kind of like, although the way he finds it is actually brilliantly done, the only reason why he's able to shoot him dead is because there was another soldier who was in front of him. He gets shot by the Jackal when he burst into the room that the Jackal is there trying to kill Charles de Gaulle, and it takes him a little time to put in the next bullet in, and that was enough time for Claude Lebel to actually take the gun and kill the assassin, thus ending the hunt and thus ending his mission to stop the assassination of the French president. A couple of things else in the story, which is like, one of my favorite novels is they actually find out that he isn't Charles Calthrop. The identity of the assassin is still known as secret. Still is a secret, sorry, and they do not know. The Charles Calthrop a person actually does come in, and they find that it's actually not him. He was actually on holiday, and it is just the name that is kind of like from kind of like They were on a wild goose chase, trying to look at the wrong person. So nobody knows the actual identity of of the person. They think he would have been British, but they don't know for sure. And at the end of the movie, just like in the novel, the assassin is the Jackal is being lowered into an unmarked grave, and the only person to see the thing happening is Claude Lebel, who probably has a uh, admiration for, a grudging admiration for this guy's methods. And that's sense the movie, absolutely fantastic novel. How does the book? How does the movie compare to the book? I think the book is way better. That's kind of like going to be the on par for almost everything. However, even though this movie is kind of a little slow in pace, it doesn't really pick up too much. I still find the movie to be fantastic. I give it an 8 out of 10. Riveted to the screen. Really wanted to watch this movie. Like I mentioned, I did watch it twice before. Once, I think maybe like 6 or 7 years ago, I guess. Maybe a little bit more than that. And once I remember when I was much younger. I just remember parts of it. That's all. I just remember like little parts of it that time. But I have watched this movie before. Super movie. If you do like crime, political drama, and like a thrill chase and all that stuff. There are some changes from the novel, but not too much that has made it way onto the. That is made it for changes for the movie. But overall, I think they do stick to the storyline as much as possible, and the movie is like something that I really would love to watch many more times. Definitely am gonna. So that is Day of the Jackal, and the other thing I want to mention is there was a remake of this movie. They made it an American Assassin and an IRA former IRA person who is actually hunting for him along with the cops, the FBI, I guess, and a Russian, and there's a couple of Russian military people, and that is just called The Jackal, and that stars Bruce Willis. I don't think most people like that movie that much, but I do. I kind of enjoyed these two movies almost equally, not almost equally. This is probably better than the other one, but I still do like that movie quite a bit with Richard Gere and Bruce Willis and younger Jack Black before he became famous. So that is The Day of the Jackal. Please do watch it. I give it an 8 out of 10. Thank you. I'll see you in the next review coming up pretty soon.